Welcome to our podcast. Today, we're diving into the world of vintage plant stands, especially the Kavlium. Why are these stands suddenly so popular?
Great question. I think it's partly nostalgia. People love things that remind them of the past, and vintage plant stands have that timeless charm.
Absolutely. There's something about the craftsmanship, right? Modern stands can be so generic, but vintage ones like Kavlium are unique.
And speaking of uniqueness, each Kavlium stand seems to tell its own story. It's like bringing a little piece of history into your living room.
I agree. Plus, vintage plant stands often use materials that are hard to find today. You can see the difference in quality.
Yeah, materials like solid wood or wrought iron just aren't as common now. It gives Kavlium stands a sturdy, reliable feel.
And let's not forget the style factor. These stands are real eye-catchers. They make even a simple plant look like a work of art.
I've noticed that too. When friends come over, their eyes always go straight to my plant stand. It's a conversation starter.
Do you think the resurgence is due to the eco-friendly trend as well? Buying vintage is definitely more sustainable.
For sure. Instead of buying new, mass-produced furniture, people are upcycling and reusing. It's better for the planet.
And there's also the aspect of space saving. Vintage stands like Kavlium are usually compact yet can hold multiple plants.
That's true. My apartment isn't huge, so I love how a vintage stand allows me to display several plants without taking up much floor space.
I've seen people get really creative with these stands too. Some use them for more than just plants, like books or decor.
That's a fun idea. I actually use the lower tier for candles. It adds a cozy vibe to the room, especially in the evenings.
Versatility is a big selling point. But what about price? Some people worry vintage equals expensive.
Not necessarily. I found my Kavlium stand at the flea market for a bargain. Sometimes you just have to hunt a little.
The thrill of the hunt is part of the appeal, don't you think? It's like finding treasure when you stumble on the perfect piece.
Definitely. And once you've got it, you can personalize it. A quick polish or a coat of paint, and it feels brand new.
That brings up another advantage: durability. These stands were built to last. Some are decades old and still look amazing.
I'm always amazed by how sturdy mine is. No wobbles, no creaks. It's as solid as the day it was made.
So we've talked about nostalgia, style, sustainability, versatility, and durability. What about the emotional connection?
Oh, there's something special about having a piece with history. It's almost like inheriting a family heirloom, even if you bought it yourself.
That's true. I sometimes wonder about the previous owners. Who arranged their plants on this stand before me?
It's a bit romantic, isn't it? Like you're part of a long chain of plant lovers.
And let's face it, plant stands can transform a room. They elevate the greenery and make your home feel more curated.
I've noticed that too. A well-placed plant stand can turn a dull corner into a focal point.
So, why Kavlium specifically? What sets it apart from other vintage stands?
From what I've seen, Kavlium stands have a distinctive silhouette. Elegant, a bit whimsical. They blend into any decor style.
I like that they're not overly ornate, but still have personality. It's a delicate balance between simplicity and charm.
Plus, Kavlium stands are practical. Many have multiple tiers, so you can display a variety of plants at different heights.
That's great for creating visual interest. It's like giving your plants a stage to perform on.
Exactly. And if you're like me and have a growing plant collection, the more display space, the better.
I've even seen some people use them outdoors, on balconies or patios. They're surprisingly weather-resistant.
That's a good point. The materials hold up well outside, and it adds a vintage vibe to outdoor spaces.
Have you ever restored a plant stand yourself? Some people love the DIY aspect.
I have. It's rewarding to bring something old back to life. Sanding, painting, and polishing. It's almost therapeutic.
Plus, you get to customize it. Choose colors or finishes that match your style. It's a creative outlet.
And when guests compliment it, you get to say, "Thanks, I did it myself." That's always satisfying.
So, for someone new to vintage plant stands, what should they look for?
I'd say check the stability first. Give it a little shake. Also look for signs of rust or wood rot, but don't be afraid of a little wear.
Good advice. Sometimes imperfections add character. A little patina can be beautiful.
Absolutely. It's like laugh lines on a face, proof of a life well lived.
That's a great analogy. Do you think the trend will last, or is it just a passing phase?
I think it has staying power. As people become more eco-conscious and seek unique decor, vintage pieces will stay in demand.
And as long as houseplants are popular, stylish ways to display them will always be needed.
Exactly. Plus, these stands are so versatile, they adapt to trends easily. They're not tied to one look.
I've even seen them in minimalist, boho, and industrial-style homes. They just work everywhere.
That's the beauty of good design. Timelessness. Kavlium stands fit in whether your taste is classic or contemporary.
Any tips for styling a vintage stand?
Mix plant heights and textures. Maybe add a small decorative object or two, like a sculpture or a stack of books.
Lighting matters too. Place your stand near a window so your plants can thrive and the stand can shine.
Or use fairy lights for a cozy evening vibe. Little touches make a big difference.
Do you think vintage stands are a good gift idea?
Definitely. They're thoughtful, unique, and practical. Plus, you're giving someone a piece of history.
It's better than yet another mug or candle, that's for sure.
And if you're feeling generous, throw in a plant or two. Instant home upgrade.
So, in summary, Kavlium Vintage Plant Stands combine style, sustainability, and story. They're more than just furniture.
They're conversation starters, memory keepers, and practical tools all in one. What's not to love?
For anyone considering adding one to their home, start hunting. You never know where you'll find your perfect piece.
Flea markets, thrift stores, even online marketplaces. They're out there, waiting for a new chapter.
And remember, don't be afraid to get creative. Make your stand your own.
That's the fun part. Every Kavlium stand can become a reflection of your personality.
Thanks for joining us today. Hopefully we've inspired you to see vintage plant stands in a new light.
And maybe even start your own collection. Until next time, happy decorating!
And happy planting. See you soon.